Welcome, namaste. My name is Brian, and I'm so grateful to be here and to share with you the message that I have to bring. 3 years ago, I had a darshan, or a holy meeting, with my spiritual teacher, Swami Purna, who we have some candle and flowers for. And in this 3-minute darshan, or meeting, he asked me to renounce my old life and set out on the road and share this energy around the United States and Canada. And he suggested at that time for 2 years. Now it's actually been 3 years that I've been out on the road. And so I went home from that retreat with him and proceeded to have a little garage sale in my apartment, and I gave away most of my clothes, and then I got a van and put a bed in the van, and then I set off on the road, and really having not much of a plan, and not knowing whether I could speak in front of people or talk about this, but I trusted the grace and the energy. I trusted that it would work out. And so I headed across country, and it was interesting because I remember going on the 40 freeway west towards California from Austin, Texas. I'd been living in Austin at the time. And along the way, when you're driving and you think, oh, I can make it to the next destination and get gas and I'll have just enough. Have you ever done that before? Just enough I can make it. And so I was driving along and looking for gas on my GPS, thinking, because if you just type in gas, it'll tell you where it is. And it was the next exit. Well, the next exit, I don't know, was quite a bit longer than I thought. And so I was driving along, and I drove in this van. I called her Persistence. She has a nice big van. And so suddenly I was stepping on the gas pedal, and it wasn't going any further, and it started to roll, and I could see the exit, and it was in sight. And the car rolled, and it got onto the exit, and it rolled down, and then it stopped right at the stop sign at the end of the exit. And I said, wow. And I looked to my right, and there 100 yards was a gas station. So I walked over to the gas station, wondering if anyone could help me to push the big van, push Persistence to this gas station. And there, a man came out of the gas station. He says, "Hi, can I help you?" And I said, "Well, yes, indeed you can." "My van has run out of gas right over there by the stop sign. Can you help me push it?" He said, "Oh, yes, of course. My name is Charlie." I said, "Hi, Charlie," and I shook his hand, and then we walked over to the van, and I said, "Well, why don't you go into the van and you guide it with the steering wheel, and I'll push." So he goes in, and funny enough, during that time that he was in the van, he saw a picture of Swami Purna, my teacher, on the dashboard. And I think that struck him, because later on he says, "I knew there was something about you. I trusted you because I saw that picture in the dashboard." It's an interesting synchronicity. So we pushed it over to the gas station, and then I filled it up, and I said, "Thank you so much." And I was ready to go on my way. I started up Persistence, and then I started to drive along, and then I heard this rattling, and it came from the wheels, and one of the wheels was rattling, and I said, "Oh, I think there's more trouble." So I got out, and I looked, and I saw the hubcap was falling off, and the bolts were coming off. And I think I had lost a bolt or something like that. There was some sort of issue. So I said, "What do I do?" "Oh, ask Charlie." Ask Charlie. He's my helper, my savior. So I went into this gas station. It was actually a truck stop, but I went in. And he was about to buy some minutes for his phone. And I said, "Well, can I pay for that for you?" And he says, "Oh, thank you so much. Thank you." And so I paid for his minutes. And I said, "I have an issue with my car. I think the wheel is falling off. Can you help me with that?" And he said, "Oh, yes, certainly. But first, I wanted to watch a movie here. Would you like to watch it with me?" It was a truck station. and I hadn't watched a movie in a long time, because I don't really watch many movies or TV. And I said, sure, I would love to watch a movie with you. So we sat in this truck stop in a little movie theater, and we watched this movie together, and I forgot what it was, but I was looking around at all the other truckers, and we were like next to each other, and we're laughing in the movie and having a good old time. And then by that time it was evening, and I said, you know, I don't have a place to stay. Can you help me? And my wheel is falling off. I don't know what to do, and it was getting dark. And so he said, why don't you follow me home? Well, I didn't know what I was getting into. So he led me down the freeway and then exited onto this dirt road. And for miles, we went up this windy road on the edge of this cliff, and I followed him in his truck or whatever he drove, and it was like this dust cloud that it was picking up in the darkness, and I was looking and going, I can barely see. I hope I don't drive off the cliff. And so I was careful, and the full moon was out, you know, and I drove through this dust, up this windy hill for miles to get to the very top. And then I parked there, and his house stood on this cliff overlooking this beautiful view of the desert mountains and the full moon up there. And I parked, and there were no lights in his house. It was dark. We got out, and I said to Charlie, do you have any electricity? And he said, nope. And there were these two big generators that were dead out in front of his house. And I said, what about those? He said, well, they've been dead for years. I haven't had electricity, but I wish I did. And so I said, okay, well, where shall I sleep? And he said, well, you could sleep on the floor in the house. I said, well, I'll sleep in my van. So I had a bed in the van. I slept in the van. The next night we were up early, and we walked the dogs through this big land. It was beautiful. And it was, I think, the 4th of July, 3 years ago when I first started the journey, 4th of July. And so I went into the house, and they said, would you like to join us for breakfast this morning? And I said, I would love to. He said, well, my boarder, the guy who was boarding at his house, is making breakfast. He's making pancakes. Would you like some pancakes? Oh, sure. Now remember, I'm the gluten-free guy that doesn't eat much at all, and pancakes, I don't even remember the last time I had pancakes. And so we sat down, and the boarder, me, Charlie, and the two dogs sat at this breakfast table, and we began to eat. And he had a big bucket of this melted margarine. You know, have you ever seen those big buckets? So I poured the margarine onto my pancakes and sat down and began to eat, and then poured some bit of syrup on it. This is the kind of stuff I would probably even keep some distance from, let alone to eat. But it was my opportunity to bond and to be with this group of people who I would normally never be in contact with. We sat down, and I looked over at the TV, and it was dead. And I said, do you ever use that TV? He said, oh, you know, a long time ago when we had electricity. I saw there was a VCR. Oh, you have a VCR? Yeah, we have some movies, but we don't have any electricity to run the VCR either. So I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Let me go to my van and see what I could find. And just recently, I had bought this beautiful Honda generator, a red one about this size, and it was in my van. And I just had happened to buy it. So I brought it out and I said, look, Charlie, look what I have. Why don't we rev this baby up? So he proceeded to take the cord and plug it in, and then we plugged in the TV and the VCR, and he put some gas in it, pulled the string, and it whirred on. And then he went over the TV and turned on the TV, and there were the white, you know, when you see the white dots, it was the TV turned on. The first time in years he had seen that TV. And then he turned on the VCR. And then he took a movie and he plugged it into the VCR, put it in, I don't remember ever using a VCR for a long time. Hardly even knew what it was. Turned it on, and there it was. And the movie lit up the screen. And there it was, a movie called Independence Day. And it was 4th of July, and he had electricity. And so he, Charlie, me, the boarder, and the 2 dogs sat down to watch Independence Day. And everyone was so content and happy to have this moment of luxury. And for an hour we enjoyed together this bonding and watching Independence Day. And after an hour I said, Charlie, I have to go. I have to leave. And he said, no. Do you really? Can you stay a little bit longer? I said, I have to go to California now. And I said, but before I go, I wanted to give you one thing. He said, what is it? I said, I want you to keep this generator. This is for you. And the boarder and he were so excited. They said, are you sure you don't need it? I said, Charlie, you need it more than I do. And so we left that there, whirring away, and he led me back down the windy, dusty hill to get down to the freeway. And then I was on my way. And as I was driving away, Charlie texted me a picture. And it was a picture of the full moon. And it had clouds on it, smiling. And I texted him back and I said, joy rising. Joy rising. And ever since then, the journey has been like that, where there's always an opportunity to give and share, and to bond and be with people and share the energy of grace with others. And that, like you said, what is life about if you can't share with others your light, your energy, the beauty of life? And for me, it was a profound moment to be there with Charlie as this movie lit up called Independence Day, because it had given him independence, And so when I'm around people, I always think to myself, how can I serve? How can I serve you? What can I do for you? I'm here for you. Whatever it is you need. You need your house cleaned? I'm staying there, because I've had so many different homes, going from place to place, people housing me, and I feel that how can I give back to people who have given so much to me? It was very difficult for me to ask for help at the beginning. I did not want to. I slept in my van most of the time. And after a while, I learned to give help, to ask for help. Normally, I would be the one that would be housing someone, not me asking for help for others. So it was a big breakthrough for me to be able to ask for help. And learning that it was an honor for people to house me and to give that to me. That I wasn't a burden to them, but that it was their honor to treat me and to give to me. So what I learned was that it was all about not just giving, but also receiving with grace. That if you can give and you can receive equally with love, then you're in this sort of flow of life. And other people learn how to give. And you leave this sort of trail of flowers behind you. I remember being at a psychic church. Where was it? I can't remember where it was, some distant land. And at the end, the lady gave a psychic reading to each person, and then she left the end to me because I had done the 20-minute talk at the service before that. And at the end, after she had gone through each person and given their message, she came to me and she said, Brian, so do you want a reading? I said, sure, I would love a reading. She said, I see you, Brian, an image of you driving in your van, driving away, leaving a trail of flowers in your wake. And I thought that was so sweet, that why can't we do that? Why can't we leave a trail of flowers in our wake that other people can come and pick it up and smell the flowers and experience that joy and sweetness of life? Why can't we do that with any situation, no matter how difficult our life becomes? To still leave a trail of beauty behind. There's a word for sweetness, it's madaram. How do you grow and build sweetness? You know, Danelle has taught me so much about sweetness, just for the very tone of her voice. You can learn so much from that. So, how can I do something sweet for someone one day? Even if it's the smallest thing, sometimes that person will remember it for years, how you spoke to them, or how you smiled at them, or did something that was loving, like you recognized something that they needed, or that they liked, and you said, here, let me do that for you. And it's amazing that the tiniest things that you do are not forgotten. How can I serve you? That is the spiritual path, is it not? Recognizing that there is only one God, that this is only God, and therefore everyone is my brother and sister. Everyone is part of the one. If I remember that all the time, then I only see myself everywhere and in everything, and I treat all as my own self, as a treasure. If I've got any resistance towards that aspect of God, then I have some work to do to figure out, okay, what is it that is causing me to feel resistance towards this? And it may be because something happened to me in the past where someone bothered me, and then ever since then I started to repeat that pattern. And anytime someone came into my life that repeated that same button or pushed that same button, I would keep reacting. Say, today I'm going to work out this button. One button at a time. Until I'm totally naked. I'm free of all costumes, all conditioning. And I lay naked before the Lord, so to speak, with no more costumes, and say, I surrender my life to you. Let me serve you in any way that I can. I am at your service always and forever, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and I will not stop until all of my brothers and sisters are free of suffering and pain. How can I help? How can I serve? So the Bodhisattva vow. The Bodhisattva vow is a Bodhisattva is a being that incarnates into this world and chooses to serve humanity and all beings. Over and over and over, they continue to incarnate, to assist the upliftment of all beings and relieve their suffering until all beings are happy and free. It's an interesting mantra. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings in all realms be happy and free. May all beings in all realms be happy and free. It's a prayer. Because when you realize your own suffering, you realize the ocean of suffering out there in the world and how much people are struggling, caught in their own conditioning, at the mercy of their own conditioning. When someone attacks you, you realize it's not about you, it's about their own suffering. So when a person attacks you, that's the ideal moment to say, how can I serve you? How can I be there for you? What can I do? In that moment, when you serve a person in spite of their attacking you, that is the moment that can change that person's life forever, because someone cared about them even when they were angry and hurt. You ever had someone who actually did that for you? That experience, that held a loving space, and despite your irritation and anger and resentment, they were still there for you. That's a very powerful moment when you're around someone in that space. So I talked about the the flow of life. So I wanted to chant the Lakshmi mantra with you together. Some of you who may have seen the Vimeo video online, the Lakshmi mantra, it's the mantra of the flow of life. It's your abundance of health, abundance of love, abundance of joy, and peacefulness. That is what the Lakshmi represents. It's an archetypal energy. And imagine if you could tune into an energy of abundance, that you would become the abundance principle itself. Not just I'm going to be abundant today, I'm going to make lots of money and get lots of friends and so on and so forth. It's about literally feeling inside yourself, I am abundant, no matter what the conditions of your life are. Which pretty much starts with gratitude, which is exactly what Danelle started with. The gratitude of every person who assists in the making of this place alive. Recognizing and acknowledging those people, recognizing your abundance first and foremost. Even if you're on the edge of bankruptcy and your health is suffering, that you can come and still stand in front of a group and say, how much I love you for how much you give. That gratitude, that power of gratitude allows you then to see the abundance in your life rather than seeing the sort of things that I think that I want or that I need. It's a whole different energy, isn't it? When you merge into that abundant principle inside, you feel so much abundance that everything seems to be flowing into that. And you can't even see the lack in your life. That's the Lakshmi principle, the Lakshmi energy. When you tune into these mantras, they're so deep and profound, they go to your very soul. Awaken the very soul to the nature of its incredible abundance and how much is around you. That everything is a manifestation of God and therefore abundant. This is the awakening. This mantra is the awakening. So I would take this mantra as very sacred, very deep, very powerful. And the idea is to open to receive the grace. Open for it to awaken inside you. You can even say to yourself, I allow myself to be healed by the power of this mantra. Mantras can do wonders. They're power seeds. They plant a beautiful garden inside your heart. So we'll chant it together. So the mantra is Lakshmi Mata Namo Namah, which means I bow to the Lakshmi energy, which is within me and without. So it's not just in, it's outside. When you feel that Lakshmi energy inside you and outside you, then you experience oneness. Because there's no difference between the inside and the outside. The energy now has dominated your experience, and you merge with the energy and presence of that mantra. You merge with it, you become it. This is not about just, oh, I'm here chanting a mantra and having some fun. You know, you could look at it that way, but imagine you are the essence of this mantra. You're just a person chanting it. This is invoking the presence of the Divine Mother herself to awaken that endless power of gratitude and love and peace and abundance within you. Lakshmi Mata Namo Namah. We'll chant it together. You can chant it as you get it. It's very easy. We'll have an intention also for this place to be blessed with her grace, her energy. Lakshmi Mata Namo Namah. 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 Lakshmi Mata, 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 Namo Namah. Oh, Divine Goddess, please awaken inside my heart soften my heart. Show me what compassion is and gratitude. Show me how precious life is and how beautiful it is. Help me to let go of all of my judgments and just be in a tender space in every moment that I may serve you. So we place our hands in prayer position like this. And then cup our hands in front of our heart and just imagine all the grace in life, in the universe, pouring into your hands and into your heart. All of the love. Imagine like light pouring into the hands and lighting up your heart. Feel that energy, that presence. And then again, we place our hands in prayer position for the final mantra. And this one is Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We'll chant that all together. Shanti means peace. And so as we are doing this, imagine sending all the good energy of this gathering, this space, imagine it sending it out to every being in this entire world. We send a wave of peace to every single being through this chant together. So we chant the final mantra. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace be unto all beings. May we always work for the upliftment of all our fellow brothers and sisters, that they may be free and happy. Namaste.